Fletcher. Now sit back and prepare to be entertained.
Greetings and welcome to the Dripping Bucket podcast thingy with your hosts, Krystle, whatever her middle initial is, Matar, and me, Michael, whatever my middle initial is, Fletcher. We are joined today by the fantastic Connor. Dude, who the heck are you?
M Caplan. We have an initial for him.
Yeah. I wrote 2 books, The Sword in the Street and The Fall Is All There Is, and I'm currently a SPFBO 9 finalist and a semi-finalist in the sci-fi version that no one can remember the letters for.
SPFBO.
Yeah, it's SPFBO. That's the easy version. That's the it's SPSFC. Is that it? Yeah, it's SPFBO. Fuck it. Honestly.
It's too difficult. So what's the sequel to The Fall Is All There Is going to be called?
The working title so far is The Diplomacy of the Knife.
Oh, it's not The Fall Is All There Is, but now there's actually something more.
Again, there's more.
The fall is all there is right before the splat.
Still falling. Fall harder.
Fall again. Fall some more.
Right. Oh, there is 2. Oof.
With the Roblox oof, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go. You get it.
We got Roblox.
Oh man, there was a.
All right, so yeah, you had some genius plan for this episode, right? Please don't.
Yeah,
we have plans.
This is going to be a whole stand-up comedy sketch if we don't have introduced some structure.
Maximum chaos. Yeah, because it's like we can't go off script if there is no script, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this is all just an improv class.
So, in theory, we were supposed to talk about Connor and stuff and how he got here. We don't need like the earliest years or anything, but you know, eventually you ended up in the indie scene and started doing books and shit. So that's what we're going to talk about. Buckets is books and shit. So The Fall Is All There Is not your debut. You got something else out first. Did you want to talk a little bit about like the process of how hard that was to do
that
without
was
a community behind you?
I was flying solo for that entire sort of process. That I started about how I was a baby. I wrote it in I think 2019 when I was 23. I had just graduated college. The thing is, so in college I wrote like I was like, I'm going to write the biggest thing I could possibly think of, and it won an award like through the college and everything. I got like $100 for it and everything, and then and it was like I graduated, and then I got like 75,000 words into it, and then I just for some reason I just hit a wall and I was like, I can't write this thing anymore to save my life. All the enthusiasm just dried up, and I spent like 9 months trying to either revive it or jump to something else, and it was like the sort of dark night of the soul moment that I had. Was like, if I can't finish something, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make. I hear you have to finish something in order to publish a book, and that seems to be a struggle for me. And I had to I think in October of 2019 or so. I remember sitting down and I had to I'm going to do the opposite of the biggest thing I can do. I'm going to write something really tight and the opposite of everything I've ever done before. And then I think 18 days later I had the first draft for Sword in the Street. It was nothing like the final version. But it was it was basically I took the concept for Ellen Kushner's Swords Point and was like, I'm just going to do that, basically. Just completely that. And then just do my own thing. I think the thesis was basically just I remember reading that book and being like, I feel like you could really get into the intersection of class and masculinity with this setup of swordsmen who are paid to fight duels for rich people and stuff like that. with like queer swordsmen and everything, and I wrote that book, and then I spent like a year querying it throughout 2020, which is not the time you want to be querying. It was a bad time to be querying. That was not great.
I'm having
there's
like
never a good time. It sucks every single time.
Yeah, it's
oh
true.
Man. Oh, it was.
Yeah, it probably sucks a little extra when publishing is slowly shutting down because they can't get paper.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was rough. It was rough. It was and I think that was when I first sort of started getting active on Twitter, just because I was like, I should have some kind of platform. I probably should have thought of that sooner. and so I just sort of was trying to reverse engineer some sort of platform while querying, and I think that was when I started getting involved with first it was like a couple of traditionally published authors, and my strategy was usually to reach out to them and ask them about everything they knew, and then around the time I started
with
getting
the most feral Victorian child.
Oh yeah,
I
remember reaching out. I called you Mr. Fletcher the first time I reached out to you.
that's always weird.
Yeah,
Mr. Fletcher, like, who the fuck is that?
I was like, these people are fucking like official and everything. I've never published a fucking book before. I need to like make it fancy, make it nice and everything, like an email or something. Like these people know what they're doing.
Oh man. Yeah, there was your first mistake going to Mr. Fletcher.
Thinking these people knew what they were doing. So that was it was around that point I started noticing. Hi, Clover. I have a cat just right under me. I started noticing the indie scene a little bit more, and around that same time, I was getting feedback from agents. I think the first time I realized that like I could do something with indie was I think I was talking to Fletcher at one point after a personalized rejection from Richard Curtis.
Okay.
And you specifically told me like a personalized rejection from Richard Curtis is huge. And I was like, I didn't know that was a big deal. Wow. And the feedback was basically just like, this is a great book. We can't publish it. It's like just out of our wheelhouse. We would have no idea what to do with it. And I was like, okay, so maybe I should just do this on my own. How hard could it be?
So, Fletcher, you're gonna have to fill me in. Who is Richard Curtis in a way that would be such a...
Okay, so Curtis is with Curtis Brown, I think is the name of the agency, right? If I'm not screwing that up. And so, Curtis Brown is like a for realsies high power agent. He's one of those people like I have sent books to in the past, and I didn't get any fucking personalized rejection.
Oh man!
Slowly, we come to realize that the theme
not
of
better at all.
The theme of recording with Connor is going to be like
all our guests are going to be people who I just quietly hate.
Yeah, well, but this one specifically, it's going to be me and you making like disgruntled noises at him.
Yeah,
either because of what he's accomplished at such a young age, or just simply because of his age.
I'll just mention my age in various years and just watch it go like.
So in 1984.
Yeah, when that book was published, before I was born.
I'm quickly doing math. Like, how many years before was that? Oh God.
A lot.
1984 minus 1996. Like, oh God, when?
Connor is here to show us his math prowess.
I can't do it on the fly while we're recording.
Clearly,
no. We're writers, not math people.
Yeah, exactly.
So you met Fletcher, and you're like, okay, well, maybe I can do this by myself.
Yeah. He's making it
to
look
myself.
Easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's doing great. He's
I'll
not
throw it
showing
in
his age at
SPFBO.
all.
We'll see how it does. How hard could it be to be 10 out of 300?
Yeah, apparently easy.
Yeah, apparently.
Interesting that you were aware of SPFBO so early in your decision to publish, because SPFBO is a thing that people don't generally hear about until
I remember
they're like a little bit deeper into the community.
Yeah,
although I guess
lately
it's building.
Connor has a way of sort of forcing his way into the community, though. So
yeah, very
pretty much he showed up and then he was part of the community because he showed up and said, "I'm part of the community now." Like, oh, okay.
Oh man,
I'm not stuck in here with you. You're stuck in here with me.
No, that's exactly it. No, that was my strategy, basically, was just I'd reach out to everyone who had their DMs open and was like, how did you write your book? What were your influences? Who else should I be talking to? And they'd be like, oh, go talk to this, and this person. I'm like, I'm on it. And it just branched out from there. So yeah, that was how that started and everything. I had like already done a dev edit with Jonathan Oliver, who's like a UK editor and everything, before I queried, so that was already taken care of. It was just from there. It's just hiring Felix Ortiz and then just going from there. So that was how everything started.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the steps for the indie community.
Yeah,
and if not hiring, at least considering and or approaching Felix Ortiz.
Yeah, no, it was.
And then.
What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, and then we must have met shortly after that, because you were asking me about launch numbers, and you were really worried about your launch numbers, and I was like, bitch, settle down.
That was. I reached out to you in April 2021 when it was before that. That was when I read your book. I must have reached out to you around February, shortly after you launched. I remember you said you took a screenshot of like what rank Brightwash was at, I think, while it was on tour for the first time, and I was like, oh, this person's like important and knows what they're doing.
Yeah. Mistake number 17.
So I was like, oh, so this person clearly had a good launch, probably had like knows what a normal amount of pre-orders is. I don't know. And so I was like, I got like 33 pre-orders. Is that a lot? Or something like that.
Yeah, and you had more than me.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, fuck, man, why are you complaining to me? No, not who are you, because like I took it for granted that I didn't know anybody who was anybody, but I figured like, man, why are you complaining to me? That's like double my numbers. Except I said something nice instead.
Oh man, and then your book ended up doing so much better than that one, so it's like karma or something, reverse karma or something.
Maybe.
Oh man.
So then and so then I guess that book struggled for a while, then you wrote a new one, which is kind of what you have to do when a book is struggling or when a book is succeeding.
Yeah, right? You write a book and it's not doing very well, so you think, I should do that again.
Yeah. That was really painful and horrible. Let's try it again. This time for sure.
Yeah, and then maybe once you get down to your 5th or 6th, then you start to look
then I'll
like
have
Fletcher
worked it out.
Make sales and
right?
Oh yeah, it's so easy. By your 14th, you sit down and you think, how the fuck do I write a book?
Oh, man.
I don't know how to do any of this. Who told me that I could do this? This was a bad idea.
Who gave me permission?
Yeah. There was that one grade 3 teacher who looked at something you wrote and said, oh, this is really good.
Yeah,
and you're chasing that for the rest of your life.
Yeah. I remember, that's true, because I remember turning in, I was in the 4th grade, man, and I turned in like this several chapter long epic for some writing class about, I don't know, a kid who found a wolf cub and got to raise it by hand or something. And
that is the absolute, if you had to ask me, like, what story do you think Krystle Matar wrote in high school or whatever? I mean, it's a story about a wolf cub or something like
4th grade.
4th grade. Shit. I was thinking, that still tracks. Like, as a kid, whatever. 4th grade high school really isn't that much of a difference.
I mean, tell me you don't have kids by telling me you don't have kids.
Oh man. I was thinking of my own like the person who had encouraged me. That I didn't start writing until I was in high school. And so I was still stuck on that while you were talking about 4th grade, and so I was like, so I got the wires crossed in what I was supposed to respond with.
You superimposed your experience on mine. Thanks a lot, Connor.
Yeah, this is the main character syndrome of me.
Yeah. We've discussed this. We already know this is true about you.
Yeah.
It's we could all trace our suffering back to the wrong teacher / the right teacher.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Ruland. You asshole! You can't believe you did this to me. No, it was.
Oh man. So then you wrote another book, and then that one is doing better.
That one
and
did
people
better.
are like starting to know who you are instead of being slightly intimidated by your energy.
Now people are intimidated
your
by
all
me.
caps tendency to shout at people.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so much fun just sort of getting people to do all caps who don't normally do all caps. Like they're just peer pressured into it.
Yeah, it's a virus that's slowly spreading.
Yeah, let's make reading hard for everyone who has bad eyesight. You know.
So let's segue neatly into your experiences with SPFBO, and tell us about the caramel nipples.
The what? I don't think I know what that is.
What? Oh, did Clayton just make that up? Oh my god, the fucker! That's awesome.
Oh, cry. Oh my god.
Well,
this could be something that he mentioned
neatly into something professional.
That was a perfect segue.
That
really smooth.
How's it going, kid?
Yeah, tell me about the caramel nipples.
Oh, that could be something he mentioned in the SPFBO9 like Discord that I've just completely forgotten about. Yeah. I don't have Discord open. Like I'm tempted to go check and see if I've forgotten. But it's
all good.
You're bound by secrecy. If it was in the Finalist Discord, it's like Vegas rules.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah. No, this. Yeah, I can't. We're all talking shit about you guys in there, and I can't tell anything.
I changed my mind. Screen share that crap. I want to know whose careers to ruin.
Yeah.
You gotta slip a few words to the wrong people.
Which fucker's going down?
Oh my god.
So how has SPFBO been treating you so far? How are you?
Yeah.
It's
stressing over every review.
Yeah, it's like I can feel a bunch of eyes on me at all times, and it's just a little bit terrifying.
Probably is kind of enforced by the fact that you're suddenly on like 6 podcasts this month.
Yeah, this one. That's oh god, I'm not used to that. That is I had one. I had one last week. Usually that's it, and I'm good for like 6 months. And now I'm just like, there's so many, and it just keeps someone keeps reaching out to me, and I'm like, what? Why do you think I'm like a person? Like, why? What made you think that this is going to be a good idea?
I
assume that's what you're asking yourself right now.
Yeah.
What have we done?
We're 17 minutes in. Has he talked about the book yet?
Not this one. You talked about a book, so like we've got it covered.
Yeah,
we're doing
it's
okay.
Close enough.
But I was gonna say, I hear some of the finalists this year aren't reading reviews, and I'm just so impressed by the self-control and the self-respect.
Yeah.
I don't know what that feels like.
I think RK Ashwick is the main one who's like hard line is not looking at anything. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think there are 1 or 2 other people who are just not looking. Excuse me.
Good for them. I didn't do that. Fletcher, did you do
I could
that?
not.
Oh no.
I could never.
I always read. At the very least, I'd skim the review and then jump to the bottom to look at the actual score.
I read.
So I could go, 4. Cool, nice.
I read like everybody's reviews and internalized that pain as if it were
literally
about my
that
book.
is exactly.
And that made it so much fun.
That's what I've been doing.
So glad I did that.
Yeah, I will scroll to the bottom to check like what the little score is, and then I'll be okay, now I know how much to skim.
Oh, this is bad. I gotta brace myself for this. And go back up to the top and go.
If it's like a bad score, I'll maybe do a bit more skimming of like, oh god, I don't know if I can just read it between my fingers and everything. But I think this year has been, I think, smoother than past years, at least.
I've got some stories.
Yeah.
I feel like this year has been quiet. Like,
has it been drama free? I mean, I haven't been paying enough attention.
We had the Bob
the cover contest. There was that.
Yeah. And
that's
it's
right.
like that one topped up the drama tank so completely at the very beginning that we've been coasting on it ever since, and we're pretty quiet now, which is kind of a nice place to be for SPFBO.
Yeah.
But usually something crops up near the end.
Towards the end, yeah, usually that's
stressed. When. And I'd like to say it's I've never seen it be the finalist. Like finalists
usually it's someone like adjacent.
Usually. Yeah. It's somebody
People
else.
People get booted earlier are the most bitter.
Oh man.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys are doing good, and I have to admire the fortitude it takes to not read reviews.
I was literally talking about this yesterday, where I was saying, like, if I don't know how, like, we're not even halfway through, so there's always time for it to go downhill. But
it could always turn that corner into trash.
Yeah, I was saying, like, if anyone ends up getting like a really just sort of like terrible, just really just gets absolutely trashed in a review, it's like, I hope it's me. Honestly, I want to be the one. Mostly because like I've had a couple like really bad reviews where like I can probably handle this. It'll be great. And it's just what's the worst that could happen?
One more thing that we'll have in common.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you get it. Yeah, I'll go offline for like 12 hours, and then you'll hear from me in the middle of the night or something.
I'm ruined.
I need a vibe check on this. Oh god, how bad is bad?
Yeah. So on that very hopeful note, I think we'll kick off this episode with Connor Caplan and escape while there's still time. But we're gonna stick around with Connor and record again, so you'll hear it either next week or whenever you're binge streaming this.
Hopefully, I actually describe what my book is about.
Yeah, maybe this next episode we'll talk about the book that is actually in SPFBO rather than the book that kind of floating around in the limbo of not being loved by its own author.
Oh man.
Yeah, so thanks for stopping by, Connor, and we'll catch you in a couple minutes.
All right.
Bye.
Oh yeah.